Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show that covers all things marketing. The GSMC Marketing News Podcast gives you the latest marketing news, from what major businesses have planned for the coming year to the newest trends in advertising, from podcasts, digital and streaming, to the old standbys of radio, television, and billboards. Whether you're a marketing agent or a business trying to expand your brand, you've come to the right place. The GSMC Marketing News Podcast starts now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the GSMC Marketing Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mackenzie, and last episode we talked about technology in the marketing world. We talked about how there are certain pieces of tech you can purchase that will help you improve your quality of your content. And I gave you my reviews and my honest opinions on buying camera lenses for your phone, buying microphones for your phone, or lighting equipment you should be buying to help you improve video and image quality. And I really loved doing that podcast because I think it's super helpful for you guys to know that there are things you can buy that are super useful, there are things you can buy that are super frivolous and are actually not going to help you improve your marketing at all. Especially right now while we're all in quarantine and we're all trying to find ways to keep ourselves and our minds busy and occupied, and we also want to keep our companies thriving and engaged in this time. We really want to make sure that we are testing things out during this time and want to make sure we are pushing ourselves and our marketing, because there really is no better time to do that. There is no other time where we can really push those limits, try new things, and really experiment with our product, because normally, we are so in the moment, having to make quick decisions. But right now we've been given an opportunity to push ourselves and our marketing. So I think technology is a way in which we can do that. So today's episode is going to seem a little strange just because of the current climate. But what I've actually done is I've come up with 6 different pieces of tech. Again, I have researched them, and these are all products I have either used or I know people who have used, and even if I don't, then I have researched them to the very end. They are all well thought out. I am not recommending anything that I do not think would be useful. But all of these tech pieces are actually helpful for your marketing, but when you're on the ground, when you're in the moment, when you are interacting at an event or a trade show or just out and about in the world and you're trying to collect marketing, or you're going to a presentation, if you're going to a pitch meeting and it's not in your own office. Basically, these 6 pieces of tech are really designed to help you get into the groove, get into the mindset of creating content, even when you're not surrounded by all the creative and comforts of your office. Because I do definitely have those little tchotchkes and posters and music that I like to play when I'm creating, and it can be very hard to take all of that with you if you have to go to an event, if you have to go to a concert, if you need to go to a pitch meeting and it's going to happen at a bar or it's going to happen at a restaurant. It can be very hard and very challenging to get your point across if you don't have these pieces of tech to help carry you. So that's really the point of this list. And I really hope that all of these are useful to you. I do want to stress, though, that all of these tech pieces, I don't want to say they're optional, I don't want to say they're unneeded, but they definitely are luxuries, and they definitely are things that aren't going to overwhelmingly improve your marketing, but they are going to help you get into the mindset so that you can improve your marketing, if that makes sense. So we are going to be getting into all of that and more on today's episode of the GSMC Marketing Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. So before we get into that, though, I do have 3 news stories for you about what is currently happening in the marketing world. I always like to start the podcast off like this. Maybe you're new to the show and you don't know this, but I think it's very important to keep an eye on what those bigger companies are doing with their marketing budgets, so that we can be aware of trends that are coming up, we can be aware of big issues that might ripple effect over to us, and I just think it's generally very helpful to know what everyone is up to in the marketing community. So, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know how you feel about me reporting on the coronavirus. I would love to know how you feel, though. So if you have thoughts, if you have opinions, please rate and review and write a comment in our podcast area. Also, please subscribe. But all of our stories today, unfortunately, do impact the coronavirus in one way or another because, guys, right now our lives are impacted by the coronavirus in one way or another. So if you like hearing about the virus, if you don't like hearing about the virus, please let me know in the review down below or reach out through social media. Our first news story is that Starbucks is going to be gradually opening stores that were originally closed to the coronavirus. So after March 21st, Starbucks had closed all U.S. locations that did not have a drive-thru option. Starbucks CEO Kevin Johnson said in a statement on Thursday, "It's not a light switch, it's more of a dial. We are going to start by dialing up the reopening of stores and do that where we use the appropriate store format for that store and that community. This means every community will continue to monitor the COVID-19 situation. People and businesses in that community will begin to adapt," he explained in his statement. So I think it's really great that we are going to be seeing a few more Starbucks open. I think that is a really great sort of light at the end of the tunnel, that we are seeing a change now. Things are perhaps, knock on wood, starting to calm down. Maybe things will start turning back to normal, if there ever will be a normal that we used to have. I don't know. But I do know that Starbucks is one of the biggest companies in the entire world, certainly one of the biggest companies in America, and it definitely hit a lot of people very hard after March 21st when they had to close all their stores. So it is very nice to see that they will be gradually reopening their stores. I'm also very happy to hear that it is a gradual reopening and it's not just turning the lights on and everybody's open, everyone's back to work, and we are going to have Starbucks packed with people, because obviously that is not realistic and that is not going to be helpful anyways. So really great to hear that Starbucks will be gradually reopening their stores, and we will see what happens in June. I will keep you guys updated on this story as we get more information. Our second news story of today is that although a lot of Marvel movies had to be canceled or had to be put on pause for the foreseeable future, there is a little bit of hope because Marvel series What If has continued to work on its production. So the upcoming Disney Plus animated anthology series is set to twist key moments from the Marvel comics, and before the first season premieres, they have already started work on the second season. However, it seems the production on the show hasn't been impeded greatly by the pandemic in the same way it has paused other shows. Head of animation Stephen Frank confirming that he is currently working on the series from home. He said in a statement, "I normally split my day between my home studio and the Disney lot for dailies and reviews, but now we're just doing it all remotely. From what I hear across town, animation has been able to keep the shows in production with everyone safely working from home. Kudos to the studios for pivoting so fast for remote work." He continued to say that unfortunately I'm also hearing about some projects in development or with more distant releases being put on hiatus, but a fair number of people in the animation are still at work from the safety of their home, which we are all grateful for. So, I don't know. I think this is really terrific. It definitely put a smile on my face. I am a fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and all the shows they have been creating and all of the content they have been creating. But I was more excited to hear about the fact that Disney was able to pivot so fast that they are able to continue working. All of these animators, all of these people who put so many man-hours and work and their creative energy behind these products, they are still getting an opportunity to work, and they are still being able to work in conditions where they're able to create and they're able to continue animating these films for us. So I think it's really great, and I just thought that if anything in all of this dark and uncertain times, it was really great to see that Disney is doing what they can to keep the content going. They understand that this is not something that they can slack on. This is their world. This is what they do. And so I really like it when we see companies like this understand their value and they understand what needs to happen so that they can continue giving us their value. I think this story was really great and a really great opportunity for us to see just how much Disney appreciates their workers and their animators and the content they create for us. And now we all get to look forward to seeing the first and the second season of Marvel's What If. Our third story up today is that Amazon is using thermal cameras for coronavirus temperature checks for all their employees. So Amazon previously used forehead cameras. However, the thermal cameras require less contact and work quicker than the forehead cameras they had previously used. The employee entrances of several Whole Foods locations will also be equipped with these new devices. An Amazon spokesperson, Kristen Kish, said in a statement, "We implemented daily temperature checks in our operation locations as an addition to preventative measures to support the health and the safety of our employees who continue to provide a critical service in our communities." She continued to say that we are now implementing the use of thermal cameras for temperature screening to create a more streamlined experience at some of our sites. So I think this is really great from the perspective of a consumer and as the perspective of someone who knows people who work for Amazon. I think it's really great that they are taking these measures to make sure everyone is safe and healthy and well protected. However, from a marketing perspective, I was really happy to hear this story. Not happy, but definitely, tickled my marketing bone, because this story for Amazon wasn't just on one news site, it was everywhere. So I do always find it very interesting, Amazon's marketing techniques, and how when they do a good thing, it's not like it's a selfless good deed. They are getting good press from this, and it's very interesting to see how much good press they are getting from this, which is totally deserved because they are really trying to help their employees, and they really are trying to help the consumer because they understand that they do play a critical role in all of this and in helping us get through this. Okay, everyone, we are going to go ahead and take a short break from the podcast, but when we come back, we are going to get into our first 3 pieces of tech that help you create, pitch, market, do all of the things involving marketing while you're actually out on the field. So stay tuned for that, because you are listening to the GSMC Marketing Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mackenzie, and I'll be right back.
Golden State Media Concepts Technology Podcast covers everything tech. The hottest mobile phones, tablets, games. We review it, rate it, test it. Whether you're Microsoft or Apple, Android or iPhone, we'll give it to you again. Black and white. The Golden State Media Concepts Technology Podcast.
Everyone, and welcome back to the GSMC Marketing Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mackenzie, and on today's episode of the podcast, we are talking about 6 different pieces of tech that you can actually utilize while you're in the marketing world. If you are someone who has to go to events, if you have to go to pitch meetings, if you are not someone whose marketing job involves you being in an office 9 to 5, you have to go out quite a bit and create your actual content. These are definitely pieces of tech that are not going to improve the actual quality of your content. However, they are going to improve how you work while creating the content. So it is definitely important. If you would like to hear the types of technology that can help you improve your content, then that was a podcast that we did on Friday, the previous one to this. Definitely go check that out. I really loved doing it. And just a little bit of backstory for all of you. The reason I loved doing it and the reason I loved doing this podcast as well is because of our GSMC Technology Podcast hosted by Mr. Ben, who has been absolutely killing it lately. I have been listening to it while I've been in quarantine, And I'm just absolutely in love with the podcast. I think it is terrific. I think it is a great example of some of the amazing content we create at the GSMC Podcast Network. If you are unfamiliar, maybe this is the only podcast you've heard from them, go check us out. We have podcasts on books and news and media and social media sites and lifestyle podcasts, just the works. We have absolutely everything. It is an amazing network to work for, but it is also an amazing network to listen to. So listen to the marketing one, subscribe, do all of the things for me, but then go check out our other podcasts because they are really, really great and definitely deserve a little bit of love. So without further much hesitation, I guess you could say, let's get into our first piece of tech, which is a card reader. This might seem like the lamest piece of tech I would ever suggest to anyone because it seems so simple and like something that, oh, of course you have that. Like, yeah, that's not something I have to worry about. Make sure it is in your travel bag if you have one. If you do not have one, go out and get them. They are super cheap. I bought mine for $5 at London Drugs. I am going to recommend some to you that are also very inexpensive. By the way, everything on this list I tried to keep under $50 because I understand that sometimes this stuff is just things you need and you do not need the $100 card reader. However, I do understand that you want something that will work and will last you a long time, so I kept that in mind as well. Because my $5 one from London Drugs immediately broke the following year, and you don't want that. You do want these pieces of tech to last you a while. So I definitely took that into consideration as well. But a card reader is incredibly important if you take your own photos or you take your own videos for your content. Even if you are not going to an event. I used to work for a housing development where I would have to go to different places in Canada. I would go to Winnipeg and Regina and Calgary, and I would go to different buildings that we were building, different resident places, different retail places, and I would snap photos on my phone, on my camera, on my video camera. And even though I wasn't like at an event and there were places for me to sit down with my laptop and like do all the hookings up of my camera or email photos to myself, it was so incredibly easy to just pull out a card reader and upload photos and then empty it out and then put it back into my camera if I ran out of memory space. So it is definitely something people overlook, but it is something that is incredibly useful. So the first one I am going to recommend is the Geekersy 5 SD card reader. This is a USB, which is 100% what you guys are looking for. Make sure if you have a card reader, it is a USB port. But it has a 3.0 memory card reader adapter, 5 gigabytes read, 5 cards simultaneously for SDXC, SDHC, SD, micro SDXC, micro SD, micro SDHC, M2, MS, CF, and a UHSI card. So this thing was one huge. It's going to take up a little bit of room in your travel bag, but it does fit all of those cards. So if you are a content creator who understood what all of those cards were, I understand that maybe that went over some of your head. Like maybe you're like, hey, I know what an SD card is, but what is an SDXC card? And it's just, they're fancier cards. They're meant for multiple different cameras, multiple different devices. But it is definitely something that if you have all of those multiple devices, even I would say if you have 3 out of the 4, it is definitely worth getting one that adapts all of them. That way you're not carrying around 4 different card readers. The second one we are looking at is the Anker 2-in-1 USB 3.0 SD card reader, and this works for multiple variations of different cards. It is a 2-in-1 USB 3.0 card reader, like I said, which is super helpful, and Anker is just a really great brand. It's very sturdy and very reliable. The third one we are looking at is the Ugreen SD card reader, which has a portable USB 3.0 dual slot flash memory card, which is great. And it also fits a variety of different laptops, which is, let me tell you, also amazing because, hey, you might get rid of the laptop, but you don't want to have to replace all of your other equipment every time you get a new laptop, which I know is not all the time either, but you do also see how it could be an annoyance. So the Ugreen SD card reader works for Macs, Windows, Linux, Chrome, PC, and just all of the laptops you could think of. It is super great and super inexpensive. And again, I highly recommend all of these. The next piece of tech I will be recommending is a Bluetooth keyboard. Now, let me be real with you for a second. A Bluetooth keyboard is something I do not currently have. I know someone who does have one, so I reached out to them and got their thoughts on it. But it is a piece of tech that I wish I had. I really, really wish I had it because I used to be a on-site promotions consultant, so I would go to events and concerts, and I would have to live tweet from the event or post on Instagram, and I absolutely hate typing on my phone. I think it is the most annoying thing. It is so easy to make spelling mistakes. It is so easy to miss something, but a portable keyboard that is Bluetooth connected to your phone could make things a million times easier. So if you are someone who has to go out to events, you don't want to bring your laptop because it's super heavy, a Bluetooth keyboard that connects to your phone is a dream come true. So the first one I am recommending is the Jellycomb rechargeable wireless Bluetooth keyboard. The Jellycomb brand is a really great brand, and this keyboard, it being rechargeable, it apparently has a very long battery life. It was super flexible to be able to fold up, it looked like in the reviews, and no one had anything overwhelmingly bad to say about it, so I definitely did take that as a good sign. The second one we'll be looking at is the Samsung foldable Bluetooth keyboard with a portable wireless keyboard stand holder. So what I liked about this one was the portable wireless keyboard stand holder and how foldable the Bluetooth keyboard really was. All of these fold, just for your information, but this one was very foldable and compressed itself quite small, which was nice to be able to carry around, obviously. But the stand holder, so that you can sort of position your phone and connect it to the keyboard to make it look like a mini laptop, was a super cool feature that I really liked. The third and final one is the 2019 upgrade of the RII i4 mini Bluetooth keyboard with touchpad black-lid portable wireless keyboard. I'm not going to lie to you. You're going to look like a freaking nerd carrying this thing around. And if we were in high school, I would push you into the lockers. But it is so easy to use. So many cool gadgets and just ultimate things you can use. It doesn't fold. This one doesn't fold, but it's so tiny. It looks like a little BlackBerry, but it has individual keys. So I really love this one. This might actually be the one I end up getting. It being backlit is also super helpful if you are someone who has to go to concerts and be posting from an event like that. The third one we'll be looking at are Bluetooth headphones. So let me be real with you. I had never used Bluetooth headphones before this year. And then finally, my roommate forced me to start using Bluetooth headphones, and it totally changed my life. Again, especially if you have to go to events, if you have to travel a lot, if you have to be at a convention but you need to work on something, Bluetooth headphones are just so simple to pull out. There's no hooking up. You hit a few buttons. They're in. They're good. You're great. And they don't break as easily as normal freaking wired headphones do. I have never been able to express my frustration at when the cord breaks, but the headphones are fine, how annoying that is. You lose that with Bluetooth headphones. The headphones just work. The first headphones we'll be looking at are the Zhinic foldable wireless headphones. These ones actually my very good friend Whitney used throughout all of university. They fold up quite nicely. They're over the ear, but they fold up quite nicely into a little case. They're super sleek looking, super easy to use. Battery power is great, and the fact that they fold up to be so small is really great, but they are over the ear, so you get a little bit of the earbud feel of it not taking up a lot of space in your bag, but you get the over-the-ear sound quality. The second headphones we'll be looking at are the MPOW H7 Bluetooth headphones that are also over the ear. These ones are the ones that I currently use after being convinced to switch to Bluetooth headphones. They're really great. I really love them. The sound quality is great. The charging battery is fantastic and not super expensive for the value that you get. The third one we'll be looking at are the Tozo T10 Bluetooth 5.0 wireless earbuds. I thought it would be very important to include earbuds on this list, as a lot of people maybe don't like over-the-ear headphones. I'm an over-the-ear headphone type girl, but maybe you aren't. These are the ones my roommate has. They're great. He's only had to charge them twice in the entire time he's had them for the year. So the battery power is great. The sound quality is fantastic. They stay in your ear, which is super great as well. And yeah, a really great price for what you are paying for. Okay, everyone, we are going to go ahead and take a short break from the podcast, but when we come back, I have 3 more pieces of tech for us to take a look at. So stay tuned for that, because you are listening to the GSMC Marketing Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mackenzie Jakewish, and I'll be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
And welcome back to the GSMC Marketing Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mackenzie Jakewish, and on today's episode of the podcast, we are reviewing pieces of tech that are going to help you create better content. And when I say that, I mean they are helping you. They are helping the content creator. They are not helping your content. They are helping you create better content, if that makes sense. So before the break, we went over 3 pieces of tech that I think totally make your life a whole lot easier if you are going to events, if you are taking photos at events, or you are having to live tweet at events. So we have a card reader, a Bluetooth keyboard, and Bluetooth headphones. Now we are going to get into the rest of our list, but before we do, I would love to encourage everyone listening to please subscribe to the podcast. It would mean the world to me, and I would really, really appreciate your feedback or any thoughts you have about the podcast. So please don't be shy, write a review, reach out through social media, because we would love to hear from you. So the next one we'll be looking at is a Bluetooth speaker. So before the break, we talked about Bluetooth headphones, and that was for the idea of if you are at an event and you need to get into the zone, if you are traveling a lot and need to get into the zone, if you're at a trade show but you have other work you need to be doing, then Bluetooth headphones are super helpful. However, if you are at a pitch meeting, if you are going to a restaurant to pitch your idea, if you are going to someone else's office to work, if you are, again, traveling but you need to work with other people, a Bluetooth speaker can totally save your butt, because the speakers on your laptops, the speakers on your phone suck, and it is going to make your video, your movie, your song, your pitch, everything sound worse. A Bluetooth speaker can make everything sound 1,000,000 times better, make you look 1,000,000 times more professional. And because it's a Bluetooth speaker, it requires no setup, no annoying cords, and is super easy to carry around. So our first Bluetooth speaker that I will recommend is the JBL Clip 3 Portable Waterproof Wireless Bluetooth Speaker. This guy is so tiny. He is so great to carry around. I actually have this one, and I take it camping quite a bit if I need to carry around music, because it's so heavy duty. You can basically throw that thing into water and it will be fine. The sound quality is really great. It is super portable and super, super easy to use. The second one we'll be looking at is the X-Leader Sound Angel 2nd Gen, which has a 5W Touch Bluetooth speaker. This one is not as small as the first one I recommended, but it is just as portable, super nice to use. X-Leader Sound Angel is a great brand, and you are getting a really great bang for your buck here, because it is a great speaker, but it is not super expensive. The third one we'll be looking at is the Zamcol waterproof Bluetooth speakers with portable and wireless options. I really wanted to give you guys a speaker option that was Bluetooth, but had the option to have a wire. And that's because what if you're in an area that doesn't have the ability to be able to set up Bluetooth, because sometimes you do need Wi-Fi for that depending on your device. And so having a wire connection, or say the Bluetooth just isn't working, it is just your unlucky day, Mercury's in retrograde, I don't know what's happening, but it is super nice to be able to have the wire option as a backup. So the next piece of tech we'll be looking at is a projector for your phone. Now, stay with me, because I'm sure so many of you just rolled your eyes. By far, this is the most frivolous thing on the list. This is the thing that if you want to only buy like 5 out of the 6 items I give you, don't buy this one then. But this is something that is going to take your pitching, your content work, your business meetings, everything to the next level. Because a projector for your phone is going to make everything a million times better. No more crowding around your phone, no more crowding around your laptop. You can project it onto any wall, and also you're just going to look really, really cool doing that. I'm not going to lie. Part of this one is for the wow factor. So the first one I'm going to recommend is a Top Vision projector with a synchronized smartphone screen. So this one's really great because you can actually move the stuff on your screen, on your phone. It doesn't have to be a set-up movie like a lot of projectors are. Top Vision projectors are very highly rated. People really enjoy them, and not a lot of complaints. The second one is the Artil Octopus portable movie projector with an LED video vital projector compatible with your iPhone HD and an HDMI laptop. A lot of these, unfortunately, when you go looking, will not be compatible with both your phone and your laptop, which is why I definitely wanted to recommend one that was compatible for both, because I feel like we're probably split down the middle of people who work on their phone versus people who work on their laptop. So it's nice having both options. The third one is the Pico projector by the ACOS Mini Projector Portable that has a 1080p HD level. Guys, if you're looking for nice quality of video that you want projected, 1080p, you can do a slightly better than that, but 1080p is a pretty good standard to look for. The Pico projector is a great price for that level of high definition, and they were all super portable, super easy to use, and honestly, you could not go wrong using any of these projectors. But I really do want to stress that a lot of the things I've recommended today, we will be getting to our 6th one here, don't worry. But a lot of the things I recommended today are things that I genuinely think will help you. I genuinely think that all of these, if you had them all in your travel bag, they would make your life of creating content or being at an event or pitching at a meeting would make your life easier. But a projector will make your life cooler. And that's the difference we need to stress. And that's the difference we need to look at. It is a great tool. All of these are great. All of these are fantastic prices. But it will just make your presentations look cooler. It'll make them look more professional. It'll make them look more engaging in all these things. But they are not totally going to save your life like some of these other things are. Especially when I tell you what number 6 is. Hold on. If you haven't been taking notes this whole time, then start taking them right now. Number 6 is the number 1 piece of tech that completely changed my content marketing life. Are you ready? I don't know if you're ready. I'm going to give you a minute to be ready. It's a portable battery. Give me a second, guys. I'm sure all of you just rolled your eyes because of how simple that is. There was a time that I was a reporter for a local news station. I was reporting on a marathon. And I had to go up to this sky deck level view. I was up there by myself, and I was supposed to get a call when the marathon runners were about to come to my side of the view so that I could catch them on camera. My phone died. I had a panic attack. I was freaking out. And then I remembered that morning my dad had given me a free portable charger that he had gotten for work as a piece of swag. And I was able to charge my phone fully. It was so amazing, and I never left home without it again. And time again, a portable charger has completely saved my butt. It is completely life-changing, even though it sounds so incredibly simple and so incredibly overlooked. I promise, if you get one, if you invest in one of these good ones, you will never think again. It is fan-freaking-tastic. You will thank me. I will be getting thank you letters because it truly is fantastic. So the first one we are looking at is the one that I currently own and my little sister actually owns as well. It is the ZMI Power Pack 10K. It is a big black brick of a thing that is super lightweight and easy to carry around, don't get me wrong. But it does have an amazing charging ability. You can charge up to 3 devices completely full. About that, I don't want to give you the hard number that is it. It completely depends on your device and how well you charge it. But it's super easy to carry around. It looks super sleek, which is also helpful. And yeah, just super great battery life for sure. The second one is the Jackery Portable Charger Bar Power Outdoors. This was a terrific find on Amazon. I highly recommend going and sweeping it up right now because great brand, great portable charger. I've never used it directly, but I know people who have, and they rave about it. It is super great and super easy to use and can charge multiple devices, I believe. Definitely take a look into that. I know that Jackery portable chargers, they have variations, but check into this one because it is a great deal. The third one we're looking at is the Power Bank portable charger with dual ports output. This doesn't just charge your phone, it charges a bunch of different devices. Again, Power Bank is a really great brand and a terrific find on Amazon. Go sweep up any and all of these products that you are interested in. If you do, please send me a photo over Twitter, send it over Instagram. You guys can follow me, follow the podcast. Really just try to connect with us on social media because I would love to see if any of you bought any of these products or if they truly did help you help create content. So that is it for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Marketing Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mackenzie Jaquish, and I'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the GSMC Marketing News Podcast, part of the GSMC Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcasts on SoundCloud, Stitcher, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to any podcast app, and you'll find all of the shows from the GSMC Podcast Network. From movies to music, from sports to entertainment, from business news to weird news, you'll find it all on the GSMC Podcast Network. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.